Did you know that employees from working class backgrounds are more susceptible to workplace harassment, especially in their early careers? A study from 2008 interviewed over 30 people from diverse backgrounds on their workplace experiences and found that the ones from working class backgrounds were the most vulnerable. Which makes sense. Imagine that you grew up in a working class family and you're starting your first job. You're excited, but you're also desperate to keep the job. You need the money. You might even be sending money back home to help your family. And then your boss starts harassing you, or a coworker starts bullying you. Are you going to speak up? Do you risk losing the job that is providing you and maybe your family's livelihood? Or do you stay silent, potentially facing long-term consequences? This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. This is what the researchers found, that people from working class backgrounds have fewer job opportunities and a greater need to stay employed, and that makes them vulnerable targets. And these early bad experiences can create a problem for the rest of their careers. If you're constantly dealing with a hostile work environment, you don't have time to network and build the relationships that go with making a successful career. You don't get to focus on developing your skills and going to additional trainings. You're trying to survive. You're also likely traumatized. Now contrast this with the experience of a middle-class employee. They enter the workplace with built-in advantages because the workplace is built on middle and upper middle-class norms. They've grown up knowing how to interact with people who are now their authority figures. Middle-class cultures tend to encourage people to be independent and speak up for themselves, but working class tends to encourage being compliant and not stirring the pot. Middle class people know what the rules are for navigating a conflict such as harassment, and more than that, they have usually more financial freedom to back out of a harassing situation. Now, as with everything, there's always an intersection, and that gender, race, and age also play a role here. For instance, blue-collar women in male-dominated jobs get harassed way more than white-collar women in law or engineering. Women of color are especially targeted for sexual harassment, as well as younger women. However, younger women are less likely to tolerate it than older women. I would guess, the researchers didn't say, but I would guess because we've grown up more with honestly having more rights and laws in our favor, even though there's still a long way to go. So what can we do with all of this? It's not an easy solution, but it starts with awareness and education. We need to equip young workers from low-income backgrounds with knowledge and tools to navigate these challenging situations. This means coaching them on the unwritten rules of work, and especially with conflict management, and making sure they know what their rights are and that it is acceptable and encouraged to come forward and not just be compliant and not stir the pot. And that's hard in some work cultures that really force compliance. And for employers and policymakers, it's important we don't forget this group. Social class as an identity and social mobility is almost always ignored by organizations. This does not get incorporated into most DEI plans. We need to build more robust systems that include these groups. And this is why I'm so passionate about my work on the unwritten rules of work for people from low-income backgrounds. A positive early work experience can set the stage for a great career for a young person, but a negative one like this can really make it difficult for them to move forward and be successful. And when we support our youth from low-income backgrounds, we make the work and everywhere a better place for all of us. Because equity isn't pie. We all benefit from people not being harassed.